Welcome to Coffee Connect, everyone. Rodney, I'm your host here. If you enjoy the conversations today, which I should say when you enjoy the conversations today, right, and the things that you learn, do me a favor, email me at ccinfo at addicted2connecting.com. I'll be happy to add you to the invite list so you know the upcoming topics for the week, right? And then also you can go to www.addicted2connecting.com. That's addicted number 2connecting.com, where you can obviously get let into the Zoom meeting here. As well, check out the YouTube channel and go back and watch some of the playbacks from previous Coffee Connects and really start to understand the value and what we believe in. And so today, guys, before we get into the mix of this and turn the floor over to Tony, because I know he's got some great information, I have to share another thing. Last week I went up to Cleveland. It was great to see Lamar and Jeff and Dave and Rita and so many other folks, right? Had a great time with Sarah on those 2 days because we had never gotten a chance to meet face to face. And but this resource fair, and Scott is part of the SAM Center, right? He's president of the SAM Center that put this on, right? This is the resource fair. Are we seeing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Scott probably knows the real numbers. 100 vendors. They estimated over 900 veterans in attendance over Friday and Saturday, guys. It is such a great venue too because it's at the MAPS Air Museum. You can't see it because we're inside the hangar bay, but outside the hangar bay, there is so many awesome military planes and helicopters and stuff to go kind of just check out. So it was a great event and had a phenomenal time being able to and having the opportunity to meet with so many great veterans over the weekend. And so none of that would have been possible without the resource of LinkedIn, right? 5 years ago almost, or going on 5 years, I should say, when COVID all hit us, right? I spent my Mondays and, or I should say my Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays sending out random invitations to Coffee Connect meetings to 700 to 1,000 people because at that point I didn't know any better, right? I didn't know how to get the word out or what to do to get the word out and stuff. And but somehow or another that caught the eye of several of you and several other people as we've had about 500 people tie into us in the last 5 years, right? It's turned it into the group that it is today. Well, here, because I didn't have any instructions and hopefully to give us some instructions on how to use this platform to the maximum extent, right? And help us get out of our own ways, right? Is from across the pond, right? Educator and speaker and LinkedIn profiler. Give it up for Tony K. Silver, guys.
Thank you for inviting me, Rodney. Let's get into things. There will be a couple of little breakouts within this. I'm actually going to, the first one I'm not going to do a breakout, but there's two more to follow that because we want to get as much value into this as particularly possible. So let's share the screen, go into the presentation, and initially I just want to give you some background for those of you that are not aware. And that is a brief history. So you lovely Americans introduced us to this product back in 2003, May the 5th to be actually precise. We kind of got it about a year later in the UK, and then we kind of set up our own office in the UK about 4 years later. Back in those days, it was still an online CV or a Rolodex at best. It was nothing more than that. But things changed, as most things in life. The larger companies adopted it, and it filtered down to us mere mortals, to the point where it was getting so big that a little company called Microsoft found $26.2 billion down the back of their settee and bought LinkedIn. Good or bad thing? That's still open for debate, to be honest with you. We are 8 years in, and they've done some good work. They've done some really stupid things as well. And that is Microsoft. If you've ever dealt with them, you kind of know that's part of the course with them. About 2018, it got so big that most of the marketing agencies that I was talking to can no longer handle it. It was no longer deemed to be social media. It is a personal, professional platform with an element of social media. You can't act on LinkedIn like you do on social media. Actually, some of the metrics that you would use on social media don't actually work at all on LinkedIn. Well, so that's kind of one of the reasons I say it. For you guys, yeah, I would normally, because we haven't got much time, would ask questions, but that is how many people are allegedly on LinkedIn. Now, it's not true. Shh, don't tell people. It's what they claim, but what they forget to tell us is that actually that is a number of accounts that have been opened since that May the 5th, 2003. But believe me, hundreds of millions of accounts have been closed down in the last 21 years as well. So it's not strictly accurate. But it does grow, across the world, about 4 people per second joining LinkedIn currently. In America, actually, that's more like 6 at the moment in time. There's a little bit of a surge because you've got up to about 220 million people allegedly on LinkedIn. Well, of course, with I think, population of about 333, 335 million in America, maybe 2 out of 3 people is on LinkedIn. Yeah. Nope, I don't believe it. And therefore, some of the statistics from LinkedIn you must take with a large pinch of salt and apply about a factor of divided by 2, and you're probably much more accurate. But it does grow. Say this week it dropped because, yeah, some people were being naughty on America. Basically, when you joined LinkedIn back in the day, whenever it was, you were asked to look at a user agreement, which no one ever did. Then they are using certain elements of that user agreement to beat you over the head and kick you off LinkedIn. We also need to consider, although it's a very, very large website and your profile is a page on this website, then it's also a rather large database, which means it can be searched. So keywords really come into prominence here. Keywords for searching, but also being found. So as a database, there's both sides of the story to consider here. What I'd like you to consider in the next couple of minutes, I won't go into a breakout room for this because I don't think we've got time to do it, but just think, write down on a bit of paper, maybe a couple of keywords that you think people would use to find you, but also a couple of keywords of people you might want to go looking for, okay? I'll give you the exercise to do. While you're writing them down, I'll tell you what I'd like you to have a go at afterwards. We haven't got time in this session, but when you have the chance, go in and do those searches. Push the button and then see how many zeros are on the end of that particular search. It's kind of scary because a lot of people will use very generic terms around. They're an accountant or they're an HR director. Believe me, they are 5 or 6 million people on LinkedIn with that particular job title. So it's not particularly useful. So you need to consider when you are looking at keywords, be a little bit more precise around what it is. There's also lots of filters on LinkedIn. If you go into the search engine, best favor you can do yourself is go and discover the all filters button. It will allow you to really zone in on that particular person you're looking for. So that's a top tip you must remember. The all filters button in the search is really, really vital. But again, think about yourself. What do you want to be known for? And if you put that search in and it's come up with too many zeros, you might want to maybe add another word. You could be a management accountant rather than just an accountant. Gets the total down and looked a bit further. So just think about those things and consider what people may look. But try and get it narrow. You want to be swimming in a far smaller pond. Otherwise, if you're in a big pond with lots of other people, chances of being found are somewhat diminished. So go and do yourself a favor afterwards. Go and have a look at those and just tweak it around what it is you think you. Once you've decided, top tip again, LinkedIn will look for it in the following 4 sections. Your headline that sits underneath your name, your about section, the experience section, but also the skills section. So if you are a business management accountant, if LinkedIn sees it in those 4 places, you get far higher up the search rankings. So think about that. That alone is worthwhile 45 minutes because that really can make a very frustrating search into something far more, well, far better. I don't want you wasting time on LinkedIn. LinkedIn takes too much time off people. I was going to ask people to volunteer, but saying, in the time scale we haven't got, but just, if some of you would like to reach out to me, afterwards, or Rodney, and just say, what it was like before and what it was like afterwards. Making those changes, did it make those targeted searches far better for you? Were the results a lot less? You should, and I can do it, get an answer of 5 million. You should get it down to about 50 by using the filters. I know that I'm quite happy looking for a list of 50, but I'm not tackling a list of 5 million. That's for certain. Yeah. We also have many issues in this bloody world we live in at the moment in time, but attention spans are one of them. I call it a 7-second syndrome. Maybe I'm lying because Forbes said that people make up their minds in less than half a second. Yeah. So when people look at your LinkedIn profile, you've only got a short amount of time to capture their attention. At the end of this 7 seconds, I'm going to use as a nice round figure, they've got 2 decisions they can make. You've told them enough to make them interested, so they will scroll down and find out more about Rodney and what you can do to help them. Yeah, it's about what you can do to help them they're looking for. So a lot of I do this, I do that maybe needs to be tempered with a bit more I can help you with, are you, using the you words rather than the I words. Other thing, of course, is that at the end of that 7 seconds, they go, oh, well, actually, nothing much here. There's plenty of other people in that search. I should go off and look at their profiles instead. So it's probably a generic search because they probably haven't been given the advice I've just given you about being a lot more targeted on the search. They won't have an awful lot of time. They will see 3 things, and it doesn't matter if it is on the desktop, if it is on the mobile, banner across the top. People are visually orientated. They see it first. It's very important. Buried into that is, I call it your headshot, because if you have a full-length picture of you in there, go and look at your own profile on your own phone. There's another idea. Yeah, at some stage later on, go into your LinkedIn app, look at your own profile on your own phone. Does it work? Can you see your characteristics of your face? Are all the words that you're trying to tell people what it is you can do to help them with, are they actually readable? Is the font too small? Is it hidden behind your headshot? Because if you can't see it, they can't either. So that's definitely worthwhile. We have headline. It sits underneath your name. It's important to tell people what it is that you do, and also maybe how you go about it. And if they are engaged, then they might scroll, which is, of course, what we want them to do. We want them to go off and look at our about section. Okay. So are you happy that your profile will pass this 7-second test? For a lot of people, the answer is maybe, maybe not. In which case, I would consider maybe looking at making some changes. We're going to go through what you can do. I'd say get your top of your profile engaging. We want them at the end of the 7 seconds to scroll down. What do they look at? Well, this is it. This is a copy of my profile. No, it's not what it currently looks like because I change mine regularly, which actually on LinkedIn is not a bad thing. The more you're on LinkedIn making changes, the more they like it. So that's absolutely fine. The banner, yeah, across the top, that is my headshot. That's the headline. Yeah, they might scroll. And if the person that's viewing has got a big screen, probably bigger than my TV in my front room, they might see more elements, but everyone will see the first 3. That's for definite. And there's also a name pronunciation thing, which again is access through the app. You can tell people how to pronounce your name if you've got a hard to pronounce name, but LinkedIn have allowed 10 seconds. So feel free to add a bit more information about what you can do to help them. Mine doesn't just say Tony K. Silver, it tells them about what I do. And that means that you're also hitting another learning style. Some people like to listen rather than to read. Yeah, you're hitting that style. So ensure your banner tells a story quite simply. What you need from here is something. I looked at someone's earlier, what we need to do is put some information in here. This is what LinkedIn give you. It's far better if you've got something in there that tells the person what it is that you do, how you can help them. Mixture of images and keywords and logos are what we're looking for here. Professional looking headshots only, and I say professional looking mainly because you haven't got to go and spend a fortune with a photographer. It's nice to do a branding shoot, absolutely. But this is not the sort of thing that we're looking for. Gentleman here, if you look at this on your mobile phone, you won't make out what he looks like. It's a very, very messy background, and he's got his hands in his pockets. It's not good. This person was trying to be clever in the middle here. Mobile telecommunications is what they're involved in. But a student I work with, as they're so observant, the youngsters, he said, "Oh, is that some burner phones? And that is his drugs he's trying to sell." Be not the image that guy was trying to give out. And this person was not an optician. For those, this is a bit of a British one, but Kingsman's a series of movies, a bit like James Bond, a bit funny. Galahad was the main character, and he wore glasses. So, am I connected to him? No, I'm not. And actually, the person's not even got anything to do with the film. Was not even an optician. So, what on earth's going on there? What we need to do is to look at these sort of headshots. Nice, non-distracting background, so you stand out against it. People can see it on the phone because it is your head. Eye contact with all of them, bit of a smile, so you look as though you're approachable. What you don't know is that if they walked into this room now and I introduce them to you, that's what they look like. Okay, they're not out of date. There's nothing worse than going on a Zoom call and looking at the camera and looking at the LinkedIn profile and going, "Am I in the right room? Is this the same person?" It might lead them to think what else about your LinkedIn profile is not correct. So we don't want that at all. And then the headline, it sits underneath your name. It's not just your job title, which is what you basically all you could do back in the day, but they've increased it to 220 characters. So tell people a bit more about what you do, how you go about it. You know, if you are that management accountant, but you've been doing it for 25, 30 years, tell us. Now, I know it's further down on your experience section, but in that initial view of your profile, I'm not scrolling down all the way down there. I'm only looking at the top. So if you've got discernible number of years in that particular industry or just in business, point it out to people. It could be the deciding reason why they scroll down. So I think a breakout room is about in time now. If we put people into breakout rooms here, Rodney, and if you've got the capacity of more than one screen, go and have a look at other people's profiles and just have a little look based upon what I've just said, or just spend that, the 8 minutes looking at your own. Have a look and see how those four people, ideally four people in the room, Rodney would be nice, but whatever. 8 minutes, 2 minutes per person, just go and have a look and see at the other people in the room's profiles, and just have a look based upon what I've just said, and then have a look at yours, and then does it pass the test? Is there anything you want to be making changes to? Just make a little note of some of those actions that you're going to take later on. So let's go away into some breakout rooms and see what that brings up.
That was the quickest 8 minutes ever.
Time flies when you're having fun, don't they say?
Being productive, that's what it was.
Excellent. So yeah, I hope everyone got something from that. Certainly it's the start, not the end. As I said, do look at the app on the phone, because that is what people are seeing from the outside world. 70% plus. One gentleman in the room said 90. I won't argue with that. It depends on what time of the day, what time of the week it is. A lot of people are using the phones to do that first view, and if they can't read what's on your banner or they can't see your headshot, that's probably not a great thing. But let's go back into the second part. So I hope you all got something out of that. And you got a little. I do apologise in advance for all the to-do lists I'm just about to give you during this session. But hey, you wanted some good information, so that shouldn't be too bad. But let's go back into talking about what's directly underneath. So we wanted to get them to scroll down from our what we call the top card, which was the banner, the headshot, and the headline, to our about section, because this is where we do most of the really good work on LinkedIn. I think it's probably the most important section, but it's split into two. At the end of the fourth line on LinkedIn's about section, you've got a little dot see more, and guess what? The person to see more of your about section, they've got to press it. Therefore, I think that that's very important. What doesn't really work is if you talk too much about yourself. I do this, I do that. It's kind of a hangover from the days of it being an online CV. Maybe consider your audience. I think something that I use and a lot of people find very useful is ask some questions, but a question where you're the answer. So are you struggling with X? And of course, you are the person that solves X. The ideal person that's reading this will identify themselves and go, okay, they're talking to me. Yes, that's kind of me. What I want them to do is when they get to the little dot see more over here, is to go, well, I need to find out more about what Tony can do maybe to help me on this. And same for you guys. So when they do, it opens up and you get the rest of it. So yeah, I've got questions in there. I do use the odd I, but I'm really, really asking questions of people who looking for their pain points. Are you struggling with this and that? And the right person is going to be going, yes, they are. I don't want everyone to scroll down. I don't need everyone to scroll down, but those are the ones that are important. Yeah, mine changes as I got here. It's okay to go and tinker on LinkedIn. It's really useful. The more you tinker on LinkedIn, the better LinkedIn loves you. They want you on their platform all the time, but that's just not feasible, of course. So, little question. I don't expect you to answer it, but how many I's are in your first 4 lines? If it's too many, maybe you might want to consider that you might want to lessen that and add some U's in there, talking to the person. But once you've got them to push the see more button, now's the time to shine. It must inform. It's 2,600 characters long, ladies and gentlemen, so it's bigger. And that has changed over the years. And as always, LinkedIn didn't bother telling anyone they changed it. They just did it. So the 2,600 character count is the current one. It was this morning. It may have changed, but it hasn't for years. So I'm pretty certain it's going to stay at that level. A lot of research, sort of input from marketing people and content writers and all the things tell us that these days people consume information in short, sharp paragraphs. Now, I'm also told that I could write my about section in about 2 or 3 paragraphs, and it would be genuinely okay to do so. But would anyone want to read it? Maybe not. It's too chunky. I can't be bothered. 2,600 with lots of white space actually doesn't look 2,600. It doesn't look too bad. It looks quite light, and you can skim down it and read it. Because people do skim, we are people that have lack of attention spans, etc. It's a good idea to use good old-fashioned bullet points. You can put exactly the same information in a sentence, but people might not read it. But if you put it in bullet points and they're skimming down, speed reading, whatever it is they're doing, they will far more likely see bullet points than they ever will in sentences. So that's a good idea to add those. I would also think about statistics. Yeah, if you've got some nice positive statistics that you can add in there where you help people save, grow, etc., etc. That's nice. People like working with achievers, so let them know that. Other things that work really well, so you don't have to use all 2,600. This person has put in, there's very little editing facilities in LinkedIn's about section. It's poor, but you can capitalize, you can break it into different sections, just break it up a little bit, make it easier to read. But in this particular case, I think that the use of a testimonial in your about section is really, really useful. Now, we have LinkedIn recommendations. Some of you may have them. They're right down the bottom, aren't they, ladies and gentlemen? You have to scroll a long way to get to them. And again, on first viewing, I don't think people will go much further past your about section in the first place. It's social proof. So if you've used 2,600 or maybe less, it doesn't matter. Tell people what you do and how you go about it. They could go, well, so what? Rodney's saying he does all this. So what is the social proof? Someone has said that Ronnie really produces something. They've given him a testimony. They've given him social proof that he does what he says he does. That then makes the rest of what Rodney said about himself much more believable. Okay, this is proven to work. The one I get really on my soapbox about, because I will use consider. Everything I've talked about so far comes with the word consider. I don't know you, I don't know your business inside and out. So I can't say you must do this, and I would never do that. But I kind of get a little bit on my soapbox about the bit at the bottom. And this lady has definitely, as I coached her, done it. Give people a call to action, the next steps. You read my about section. This is what I'd like you to do. Okay. This is what I'd like you to do, and this is how I want you to do it. In this particular case, email now to see if we're a good fit for the people or event. So that's and then she's gone and given the email address. I'd like to go searching for your email address. And it's actually, this is another one for you guys to look at. Go and look at your contact information at the top, which other people can as well, because it's clickable. Is the email you're using actually the one you want to show the outside world? Guaranteed certain people in this room will be horrified when they realize that it's the old one they set up their LinkedIn account with back in 1912. It's out of date, and if people are emailing them on that, they're never going to see it. Or if LinkedIn kicks them off, they're never getting back in either. Just make sure that contact information is correct. But don't make people go looking for it. Just tell them, email me now. This is my email address. It's a call to action. it will give people a definitive why they need to do what they want to do. Not everyone will, but if they're interested in what you've done and you know like this person's done a nice job about breaking it up, making it easy to read, lots of information in there, yeah, absolutely works. I put it in here, you can put more than one. LinkedIn recommendations are down the bottom. If you want to, you can put more than one. You might do more than one thing, so you might want to have testimonial for more than one particular thing that you do. It's no harm. You've got 2,600. Many of you will have space to add to that. One or two of you won't. So again, we can either go into breakout rooms. No, we're not. We're going to spend a couple of minutes just thinking about what I've spoken about. Just spend a couple of minutes of your own time. What could you add to yours? What do you think yours would benefit from? What would you consider changing on yours? Because if you do it now, then you won't forget about it later on, and you then might go ahead. Because everything I'm teaching you now is wonderful, brilliant, fantastic. But if you do nothing about it, is it really? The answer is not. You need to implement. So make a note of what it is. Have a look at your about section. And think, oh, actually, that what Tony said there makes sense to me. I think I might do that. Make a note of it now, so you might then go and do it. So just have a couple of minutes doing that. Rodney, you're not writing.
I did. I wrote mine down. I got my list.
Yeah, again, some people may have been writing it down as I spoke about. But I got my eye on the clock, so I will run to the 2 minutes to give people ample opportunity to do that. And again, this is all based upon lots and lots of research, etc., etc. There are 2,600. You don't have to use them all. If you can get across the message more succinctly, absolutely. But you need to get the message across, what you can do for them, how they go about reaching out to you. I think the testimonial has been a big change for a lot of people, because not everyone wants to play the LinkedIn recommendation game. It is a bit of a fact, as we say in this country. It's a bit of a pain. You send someone a form, they've got to remember to fill it in and send it back to you, and it's all a little bit, yeah, it takes a bit of time. But this, you can just cut and paste a testimonial that you have got on your website or in an email. Doesn't matter, but it's nice social proof that says, I worked with Karen. She was fantastic. She did everything she told me she was going to do. My business has practically improved because of it. I read that and I go, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. It's social proof. It is very powerful. Advertises you all the time. Just you're advertising yourself within this. So just maybe consider that. We've got the last 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll move on to the next slide. What's the hard stop on this, Rodney? Do you think you're on the clock?
What's the hard stuff?
Hard stop. What time do you want me to complete?
Oh, 10:55, 10, anywhere between 10:55 and 11 is fine. We'll be fine.
Okay. All right. As long as I know, I don't want to run over and disrespect people's time. Okay, that's the 22 minutes up. So we're going to move on. These are questions that other people have asked. So I won't go to those. Now, this is a question, don't need to answer it, but do you have a feature section on LinkedIn? It's something that wasn't there originally. So when you first joined LinkedIn, it wasn't there. You didn't have it. Even if you joined recently, it wasn't one of the automatic ones you had to fill in. But I think it's wonderful. I think it's one of the best sections you've got on LinkedIn. So when you look at your LinkedIn profile at the top, there's a series of buttons, the connect one, the message one. There's also one that says add profile section. Do yourself a favor, go and discover it. Click on it. There are 3 different levels of sections that you can add to LinkedIn. Some you already have, some you needed to because they were kind of the standard stuff at the beginning. These are all scored. So LinkedIn's indexed, a bit like SEO on Google. Every single part of this, all those ones where you can add a profile section to it, they're all scored, which will add towards your results on LinkedIn. In there, and I think it's on the recommended, which is the middle block, top one is featured. Absolutely fantastic section. It sits directly underneath your about section, so it enhances it. It was brought in a while ago, but a lot of people still don't know about it or don't see it. When you open it up, there's 2 buttons at the top, plus. Well, you've got nothing in there. Of course, there'll be nothing to see like I've got here, but you can add things in there such as posts, articles, maybe newsletters. I'm not getting too excited at this particular stage, but then you can put links in there. Yes, adding links on LinkedIn is a big issue over the years. LinkedIn don't like you leaving their platform. They get quite about it. In fact, they've gone and deleted the fact you can put clickable links in quite a few sections on LinkedIn, which used to be there. They're no longer there. But they built an engine here, which means if you put a link, as I have in here, and someone clicks on this, off they go. But when they finish, they come back into LinkedIn, which is the really important thing. It keeps LinkedIn happy. So you can put links to websites, anything you want to. There's no, I've never come across a total where you hit the bumpers on this. But there are other things you can put in media. The media can be a PDF of an upcoming event you've got or the latest offers you've got. It could be images. Or if you're really brave, it could be video. When you click on that, it won't ask you to do a YouTube or a Vimeo link. LinkedIn hate both those platforms. But if you download that from YouTube onto your desktop, you can point it at that and it will insert it into the post. Now, some of you may have had creator mode. LinkedIn ditched that this year, long overdue, it was rubbish. But a lot of people like the little profile video you have behind the headshot. And, oh, it's gone. I don't know where it's gone. No, you can't get it anymore. If you liked it and you thought it was useful, just record a little one and stick it in here. And people can click on it and get an intro video from you. Lots of uses around this that will enhance. As you can see in this particular one, I've got 3 things in there, but there's an arrow there which tells you there's more. You can have lots more in there. Edit button means you can reorder it. So this one is these items, but I might decide the following month I want to promote another side of my business, or I've got something coming up I want to push, such as this workshop. I could then go into here, rearrange it. So the 3 that people see are the 3 that I want them to see. I've got other stuff in hand, so I can move it around. I do it on a regular basis. And again, because LinkedIn love movement and you being on their platform, it ticks their box as well. They like me to do it. And it's definitely worthwhile considering adding that. In fact, I would say it's a pretty much, please do add the feature section. It's so useful. Sits there right underneath your about section, gives people more information and really helps people to promote. And if you've got something coming up, you're doing a talk, you've written a book, whatever it is, yeah, stick it in here. Because if you do a post about it, posts come and go. They go through your feed and out the other end. Here, it stays in there until you decide to move it. Okay, so it's a nice place to put some really useful stuff. So please go and discover the profile section.
Tony, where do we find the featured section again?
From your add profile section button, right at the top under your banner, you'll see an add profile section.
Could you show us on your screen, please?
Oh, God, I've got to come out of here. Right. Okay.
Or maybe Bob could do it.
Here you go. I got you, Tony.
There you go. I got. Let me come out. Let me stop sharing. To the top.
So if I'm at my profile, if I just scroll down,
profile section. There you go. Up to top. You come down too far. Keep going up. Just to show people that's where it sits, but we want to show them where they actually can get it in the first place, Rodney. So it's there. Yeah, add profile section next to the open to an enhanced profile. It's there. When you go into their add profile section, that's the world section. Click on it for us, would you, Rodney? It will show you. You've got core, you've got recommended. So if you click the recommended one, Rodney, top one should be featured. There it is. So yeah, spend a bit of time in this section. There's lots of sections you can add and enhance your particular profile. Thank you for that, Rodney.
Thank you.
No problems at all. Let's quickly go back into this. I know, obviously, time is running against us. So yeah, there's lots of things you can add in there. I think it's definitely a section that is well worth having. You can add lots of useful stuff. There it is. It's at the top. So this is, it's better than Rodney showing it to us live, but that's where it actually sits. And as I say, there are different sections: core, recommended, and additional. These are all indexed. So the more you can fit in, the better score you're going to get on LinkedIn, which will put you higher up search rankings, etc. Now you can't do the all, some things you won't be aligned with, but have a go. So yeah, ask yourself, how many sections do you have on your profile? But probably more important question is, how many can you add that will give value to both you and the person looking in from the outside?
Tony,
everyone will have a few.
Tony, quick question.
Yeah.
So we just saw with Rodney, he pulled his up, but we saw his admin view. How do you look at what everybody else sees of your profile? So you can look at not your admin view, but you know, with the edits and everything, but what is Tony looking at when he looks at my profile? Is there a way to do that?
There is. And again, so I'm going to come out and I'll do it this time. So I'm going to come out of that. I'll answer the question. So when you go into, so that is me up the top. Let's go into my profile. So that's what I see. You know, that's what I can edit, as you quite rightly say. But it's not what everyone sees. So when you go into the Me button at the top, drop down to Settings and Privacy. Okay. And everybody's recording this, so if I'm going a bit quick, you can always look back at the video. It opens up a brand new page, and this is a really important page to find. So it's good that I'm getting it in here anyway, because this settings and privacy really will dramatically change the way LinkedIn works for you if you've got them set up wrong. Visibility. Edit your public profile. It's there. It's the third one down. Click on it, and what it does is it opens up. So there's a couple of things here. So this is what people see. Okay, down here, this is what they're seeing. So this you'll get to see what people see of yours, Andy. It's very close to what yours looks like to you. But for those of you that have got what we call the vanity URL from the old days, where it had letters and numbers after your name, which I don't think looks very professional. Here, I've just clicked on a little pencil, which is the editing button on LinkedIn. You can then change it. So I'm lucky, or by design, Tony K. Silver, there is only one on LinkedIn, so I can use it. Maybe for some people they can't, but you can add up to 300 characters. So I could put Tony K. Silver, you know, and then put my company name after it. Or you could do that just to make sure, you know, Andy, you know, you could put your company name after it to make you stand out against other people that may have the same name as you. But it's a lot better looking than those numbers and letters you were assigned when you first joined. So you can do that in there. You can turn certain sections off to the outside world, Andy, as well. So actually, if you look at my profile, when you're looking at on my screen and me showing you in the training, the education section's there, but not when you go and look at it, because actually my education is so last century that I don't bother showing it. It is literally, I've done nothing educational since 1998. So, but that's it. That's where it is. You can go in there and look in there. Hopefully that helps. Let's quickly get back to here because there's a few more things I'd like to be able to get in before the top of the hour. Okay, so let's share my screen. Let's go into that one and get that lifted. Oh, let's get, oh, comes. Come on, drag. Not doing it. Oh, 1 second. I need to come out. Stop sharing. Need to drag it out the top. It's not coming. That's better. Right. Okay, let's do that. Go back into share my screen. Square screen to share. Right. Yes. Okay. So slideshow from current slide. So we're talking about being active on LinkedIn. It isn't just posts, but it's the main thing people do. You know, you need to be consistent around posts. So very quickly, consider your audience. Okay, when does your audience consume information? There are reports out there that will say something like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday is a great time to post. And there's a lot of research behind that, which proves that it's correct. But is it? You know, if I post at 10 o'clock in the UK time zone, if you're in New York, that's 5 a.m. You're going to look at my post that time of day. No, Karen, you're not, are you? You're not, no, you're not interested at that time of day. You're asleep probably, or you're up down the gym or something like that. So consider your audience. You don't need to overpost. LinkedIn doesn't like you posting more than, well, actually, the rule is don't post within 18 hours of your last post, kind of is the rule they put in there. 2 or 3 posts a week is absolutely fine, I think, for most people. Writing articles every couple of months is also quite a useful thing to do. Best days of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the best days of the week. And as I say, statistically speaking, 10 to 12 a.m. in the morning is the best time. But you need to consider your audience. As I say, if I do that, then you poor guys will not see it, which is often why I repost my own posts in the afternoon. That is okay. You can like and you can comment, and you can repost your own posts first before anyone else nowadays. LinkedIn no longer gets stroppy about it. They let you do it. So it's definitely worth. So I might do a post in the morning, 10 o'clock, 5 a.m. in New York. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll repost it. Let's put a little comment saying, hi, this is for you guys that missed it this morning and for my friends across in America. Just to put in context of why I've redone it. It gives people a chance to see it. Because when people engage, it's very important that they engage in that first hour on LinkedIn. But there are other things. You can write articles. It's more of a positioning document. So bi-monthly is absolutely fine. You can go and work in groups. People are in groups on LinkedIn, but I just throw a little challenge out to you. Maybe consider going and joining groups where your ideal client is. I'm in groups of lawyers and accountants, solicitors. Am I a lawyer, accountant, or solicitor? No, I'm not. But are my ideal clients? Oh, yes, they are. So I've joined them. And when I start to post in there, when I look at the members of those groups, they are ideal clients. So think about doing some bits in groups. But also, on the days that you're not posting, as I say, LinkedIn loves you being on their platform. Please consider interacting with your feed, you know, liking, commenting, and maybe resharing or posting, reposting. They're going to name it share again. Thank Christ for that. I get like repost doesn't work for me. Go on there. LinkedIn sees you're on there, and actually, when you do that, now it is not social media, as I said earlier. Therefore, views and impressions, as they want to call them, don't count on LinkedIn. All right, I don't really care if you've had 5,000 views of your post. When you realize what actually a view actually is I'm scrolling down to find something on LinkedIn and I've gone past your post at maybe 100 miles an hour. It was on your post for 2 nanoseconds is what they originally used to say. And I go back up to the top. You've got 2 views from that post. Did I look at it? No, I didn't. And many of the views are completely false. That's why they don't count. Likes and comments and reposting or sharing do score on the LinkedIn algorithm. That's what you want people to do for yours. But you start a post at the top, as I say, just consider the 4 words. I'll leave you with 4 words on why you consider a strategy around posting. Quality. Don't post just because you think you got to, and do yourself a disfavor just putting out some mediocre stuff. That's not going to be really good. But do be consistent. Don't leave it 3 weeks, because that's what LinkedIn says. If you leave it 3 weeks before you post again, they will downgrade the post because you were away too long and they've sulked, basically. But you can schedule now on LinkedIn directly, so you don't need to. If you've got a 3-week vacation, and good luck to you. I can't afford a 3-week vacation, but if you do, you can then put in some scheduled posts for while you're away. Okay, you might not be able to interact with them as well, but you can do it. Informational is the 3rd one. Make the post useful for people. Give them some information. You are an expert in your field. You know, don't give them away the golden nuggets by all means, but give them something that's useful to them. But then, you know, the final thing I would say is make it discussional. You know, we want people to come back in and comment on our posts. So asking a question at the end of how would you handle this? You know, have you done this? Have you got this section yet? I could put out a post and put, have you got the feature section yet? And people will answer it. They go in. You want that engagement. So make sure that the last thing you do on a post is give them the chance to come back in by asking them a question. Asking them a question, the likelihood is that they will. People have opinions, and my God, they like to share them. That's all for now, folks. That's all I could get into the allotted time. There's a few more bits and bobs, but hopefully you got value. Hopefully you'll hate me all. You all hate me because you've got a massive to-do list and you don't want to see me again. But that's good. I like that. So back to Rodney.